Hi guys, it's Anissa. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I did a one brand tutorial for you guys using all drugstore makeup from one of my favorite brands of all time, e.l.f. Cosmetics. I feel like e.l.f. has so much to offer and one of the most inclusive drugstore brands in my opinion. They have something for just about everybody, so I'm really excited to share with you guys some of the products that I used in today's video. Not only did I show you guys the products that I used, but I also mentioned a couple other favorites from e.l.f. that I had. If you guys are interested to see how I came up with this look, then make sure to keep on watching. But before we go any further, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I post on this channel every 4 days, so you never have to miss me for too long. But let's just go ahead and get into it. We're gonna go ahead and do brows first, but before I do brows, I wanna go ahead and moisturize my lips. This is like one of my favorite lip balms of all time. This is the e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm, and this is in the scent Mint. Very similar to the Glossier Mint Balm.com. You guys are gonna hear me mentioning a lot in this video that I think that some of these products are dupes for higher end products. I am gonna go ahead and try a new brow pencil that I've never tried from e.l.f., but I do want to go ahead and mention this one to you guys because I think that it is really good, especially for the price. e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, and I have this in the color Cool Brown. A lot of the times I have chosen this over high-end products that I've tried. It has a good amount of pigment and it's also very blendable. This is what the swatch looks like, so you get a good amount of pigment. It's not going to tug and pull on your skin a lot of multiples of products in category, so if I have a favorite in that category, I do want to go ahead and mention it to you guys because I feel like e.l.f. has a lot of really good stuff to offer and they have a lot of options. I want to try something a little bit different. I've had this in my collection for a while. e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil. I have this in the color Deep Brown. Looks like it's a little bit thicker than the Ultra Precise one that is dual ended, so you get your product on one side, spoolie on the other. I also do want to apologize to you guys quickly about the lighting if it keeps changing. I'm still trying to figure out this new setup. What I like to do with my brow pencil is I like to outline the shape that I want, and then I will go in with a pomade and fill in. So that's exactly what I'm going to do with this. Okay, well that is really pigmented. I'm barely pressing at all. I feel like I have to tell you guys how easy that was to use. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch it on my hand for you guys, that way you can see just how pigmented this is. This is the swatch for this one. Like super, super creamy. I feel like this one is definitely creamier than the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. I was a little scared to use this because it is a little bit thicker. The applicator is, but I'm not having any issues whatsoever. Like that is super easy to use. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing over here. Keep in mind, I haven't filled them in. This is just them outlined. I really like this color. I actually think that the formula on this is a little bit creamier than the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil, but I feel like the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil is just a little bit more pigmented. I would honestly use both of these. And again, I love the fact that they offer something for everybody. Not only do they offer something for somebody with thinner brows like myself, but they also do have something a little bit thicker that can be utilized on thinner brows, but it's also a lot more efficient for people that have thicker brows. This is one of my favorite brow creams, brow pomades of all time. The e.l.f. Lock On Liner and Brow Cream, and I have this in the color Espresso. The creamiest brow pomade I have ever used, high-end and drugstore. I've actually never used it as a liner, but I feel like this would be really good to use if I ever wanted to do a liner and smoke it out because it is a little bit more creamy. It doesn't necessarily dry down. When I fill in my brows, I like to leave the front alone, do a more natural ombre, and I will actually leave a few of my sparse areas the way they are. I feel like when I do that, it just makes my brows look a little bit more lifelike and not just super blocky. Sometimes I will go over my arch if I want to accentuate it a little more. Look at how pigmented that is. I very, very lightly go in the front because I mean, I shouldn't say that I leave the front completely alone, because if I left the front completely alone, it would be like sparse and then super filled in, and that wouldn't be super ombre. So I very lightly go in, and this is what my brow looks like filled in. It's not cleaned up yet. I personally like to carve my brows out using a pot concealer or like a foundation stick. Unfortunately, e.l.f. does not have either one of those. I guess I could have used the concealer. I'm a creature of habit, so I went ahead and used this product. This is the Milk Makeup Flex Foundation Stick in the color Praline. I love using this to carve out my brows. I have a lot of eye products from e.l.f. I feel like e.l.f. really kills it in the eye category especially. I do have two different primers that I want to mention to you guys. This first one is the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and this is in the color Clay. They do offer this in multiple colors. This is what it looks like. I feel like the concept of this is very similar to like a MAC paint pot. This is the original OG e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. At a time, this was $1. I think it's like $3 now, but this is also very, very good. This is gonna give you a little bit more of a sticky base, and then this is gonna do a little bit more correcting. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one today because I feel like I always use this one. And this also has more of a soft matte finish. I feel like this product is very unique in the sense that it literally is a putty texture. Like, it's not super liquidy or creamy, but not in a bad way. Today, I knew that I wanted to use these bite-sized eyeshadows. I'm not gonna use all these. I know that I wanna use these two because they're the newest. The top one is Truffles and the bottom one is I Love You a Latte. This one has been very loved. This is the pumpkin pie. What I love about these is that they're super easy for travel. You have a lot of different options for color schemes, and the formula on these shadows, the most buttery, creamy, blendable, pigmented eyeshadow formulas for the price. I'm gonna start in this Truffles palette and just put this color right here and sweep that in my crease. Just taking like a medium fluffy crease brush, back and forth. I'm gonna go into this I Love You a Latte palette. I'm gonna mix this color and this color from the Truffles palette together on a smaller brush and put that more concentrated in my crease. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just placing the color. I'm not blending it out or anything yet. I'm gonna go back in to that first color that I used out of the Truffles palette, and I'm gonna take a brush and use that to help blend this color. And then just taking a huge fluffy brush and not putting any color on this. I love doing this step because it really helps diffuse any harsh lines. I'm gonna take this black, and I don't know if it's picking up on camera, it has like the slightest little prettiest shimmer to it. Place that on my outer V right here to deepen up the crease. And again, placing it before I blend it out. That is so pigmented. Taking another fluffy brush and really just blending that out. Like, do you see how easily that just diffuses? I want to go for something a little bit more cool tone today. This is the Cream and Sugar palette. I'm going to go in with this color and I'm going to mix it with this shimmer in the Truffles palette. It's like a more cool toned silver color, which I don't think I have anything like this. I like to use my fingers with these. And I'm just placing that on my lid, basically wherever there's not color from before. I did have this really pretty eyeliner, which I forgot about, but this is definitely more warm. Stardust glitter eyeliner in the color Shimmering Gold. I'm just gonna swatch it for you guys. So that's what it looks like. It's a very pretty eyeliner. I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I usually do because it is more basic. Just taking a clean blending brush and blending my crease color and my lid color together. I do have these liquid eyeshadows. These are the e.l.f. liquid glitter and metallic eyeshadows. I have pretty much every color in the book. I have purple, gold, blue, green. This is Galaxy Neutral Bronzy type of color. I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like. These are so gorgeous. I'm gonna put this on top of the lid shade just to kind of spice it up a little bit. Kind of added a little bit of an oomph. I hope that it's picking it up on camera, the difference. I used to always think that cool tones never looked good on my skin, but this is actually giving. Very user-friendly. Don't even waste your money on the Stila liquid eyeshadows. I feel like we have to do liner today. I have 3 different ones. Clearly, I'm not gonna be able to use all of them, but I did wanna go ahead and mention this one to you guys, H2O Proof Eyeliner Pen, and I have this in the color Jet Black. It has a really pointy tip and it is super, super black. I'm gonna go ahead that's just what a quick swatch looks like for you guys. Since I have eyelash extensions, I do prefer to use a pen component over a wand. The product just gets clumped up in my lashes and it's a hot mess. I do have two little pot eyeliners, e.l.f. cream eyeliners. This one is in the color black, and then I have this one in the color coffee. So coffee is just more of a brown color. I do want to go ahead and use the black today. I always go in with these e.l.f. Line and Define eye tapes. Not only are these great for eyeliner, but they're also great for eyeshadow. What I do is I always cut them in half because you will get double the use out of them. A lot of people ask me why I use these and not just tape. I feel like tape is a little bit more harsh on the skin, and when you're working with your eye area, you want to be as sensitive as you can because the skin around your eyes is so super fragile. This is actually more of a like cloth material, which I don't know if I've ever even mentioned that to you guys. I don't do cream liner a whole bunch, but I believe that when I do, I prefer to use a more flat top brush. Just dipping into the product. I'm going to start on this eye over here. It's not super black. It is very creamy, but I am gonna go ahead and go in with this eyeliner pen just so I can get a really crisp line. Okay, ew, I hate that wing. Hold on. This eyeliner pen is not as black as I thought it was. I usually don't bring in my eyeliner all the way this far. I don't know if it's me or if it's the product. So I'm gonna go in with another eyeliner and see if I have the same issues. So that was definitely just the eyeliner because I went ahead and used this Maybelline Hyper Easy and I did not have any issues. I'm gonna start with the cream eyeliner on this eye because it's usually a little bit easier for me to do this eye than this eye. Yeah, that is not super black. I feel like I would use that cream eyeliner if I ever wanted to like smoke out my liner. I guess I had never really compared this H2O proof eyeliner to anything, but I definitely think this Maybelline is a little bit more black. Eyeliner was a bit of a flop, but it's okay because we saved it, so it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna go ahead and peel these off. Now it is time for my favorite part of makeup, which is complexion. And I feel like e.l.f. really has some super solid complexion products. First, I'm gonna go in with primer water. I do really enjoy these two. This first one is the e.l.f. Hydrating Primer Mist. This one is the e.l.f. Oil Control Primer Mist. I feel like these are really good, affordable options. I do have a new one that I want to try, e.l.f. Hydrating Coconut Mist, and this claims to hydrate the skin and refreshes makeup with hyaluronic acid and vitamin E. And it claims to be lightweight, which is really what I look for in my primer mist. I don't want anything that's going to be super heavy feeling. Oh, okay, I'm really not the biggest fan of coconut scents, but that had just like the perfect amount of scent in it to where it wasn't super overwhelming. I like to use primer mist because I feel like it helped primer go on a little bit more smoothly. And I used to not use primer mist at all. And I feel like I didn't use primer mist because I used to go in with my makeup directly after skincare. But if you did not know, you're actually supposed to wait like 10 to 15 minutes after you do your skincare to do your makeup. That way you can allow your skincare time to really soak into the skin. The primer mist is just a really good like refresher. When I tell y'all, I am so excited to try this primer, e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, which is one of my favorites of all time. e.l.f. actually did make a product pretty similar to this not too long ago in a limited edition collection. And I can show it to you guys. It is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer, which is not bad. Super, super, super sticky. I must say, I do love the packaging, the fact that it comes with a pump. This is the consistency of it. It is a little bit more runny than the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, but the consistency is very, very similar. Leaves like a refreshing, cooling feeling on the face, which I absolutely love right before makeup. I really don't like to ever use products that feel super heavy, but especially in your priming steps. Like, you don't want your face to feel heavy before you even have makeup on. I've tried a lot of different dupes from the drugstore for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. And the reason that I always go back to the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip is because I feel like it is sticky, but it also does a really good job at hydrating the skin. Never thought that I would admit this. I feel like this does a very good job at giving that hydrating and cooling feeling as well. So I felt like that was something that all of the dupes kind of lacked for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. And this actually does give a little bit of a glow to the skin, if you guys can see that. Let me know if you guys want to see a dupes video where I compare them side by side. I feel like that's always the best way for me to figure out if a product is really a dupe or not. It's completely different to apply them one at a time than it is to compare them side by side. I also do have another new primer, and I've never tried anything from this e.l.f. Plus line matte control primer, Kaolin clay and tea tree oil in it. So I'm just gonna put this in my T-zone, and it is silicone based, which is my fave. I know not everybody likes silicone based primers, but for me, in my skin, I feel like they do an awesome job at really smoothing and filling in my pores. I just feel like a lotion does not do the same. I feel like a lotion is going to more so absorb than cover. Slightest scent of tea tree oil in it. It's not super heavy feeling. I always love putting silicone based primers on my forehead because that's just when the magic truly happens. Like, look at that. You can see where it is. It looks like I have a filter. Wow. I feel like too with silicone based primers, it's all in how much you're using. I really only put the silicone based primers where my pores are the biggest, which is forehead, around my nose, my chin. My cheeks are very normal, and obviously this is going to be different for everybody. I am done priming, but I do want to go ahead and mention these to you guys. e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. This is the white one. I also really like the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is the pink one. This is actually the only non-silicone based primer that I feel like does a really good job of smoothing in my pores. This is literally the exact same thing, in my opinion, as the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. And I love this matte one, especially in the summertime, because your oils are going to go through a fight trying to get through this product. Neither of them are super heavy feeling at all. I love both of them. I'm really not a super big fan of the luminous one. I feel like it is very greasy. I'm trying the acne fighting putty primer right now, and I seem to like it, but I wanted to recommend those two to you guys. I feel like this is where the true transformation begins. Had to use this e.l.f. Camo CC cream. I have this in the color 425 in tan. This is actually a little bit too light for me, I believe, and they did just come out with some new shades. I don't know. This is what it looks like. It is a little bit light, so I am gonna have to mix it with a little bit of something else. I need to get my hands on a darker shade because they did just actually expand the shade range. Just to darken it up a little bit, I am going to use this NYX Born to Glow foundation, and I have this in the color Cappuccino. This is so beautiful on the skin. Okay. All right, we're gonna make that work. I always apply my foundation in sections, even if I'm not filming. Today, I'm going to be using the big sponge out of the e.l.f. Complexion Trios, but I do wanna give these three honorable mentions. The e.l.f. Total Face Sponge rocks, and this is just the e.l.f. blending sponge. Definitely my favorite is this e.l.f. Marshmallow Blender. It is the softest sponge that you will ever use. On the downside, it does absorb a lot of product because it's so super soft. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one today. This e.l.f. Camo CC cream is actually one of the first foundations slash CC creams that I used that had more of a natural finish to it, and I liked. I think that full coverage foundations are more versatile than light coverage because, I mean, if you think about it, you really can achieve light coverage with a full coverage foundation. You just use less. When I put makeup on, I like to put makeup on. I'm just dragging it down my neck. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, I wonder if e.l.f. purposely tries to like dupe products, because I mean, they really do have a lot of good dupes that compare very well to high-end products, which I mean, it isn't a bad thing. It's giving people a more affordable option. Being somebody that had oily skin, I always thought that I couldn't use more natural finish products or something that gives me like a little bit more of a glow like this does. I can, and I found that I actually gravitate more towards natural finish products because they look so much more skin-like than something that is matte. In order to make sure that my makeup lasts, when I use more natural products, I just use a like mattifying primer. I will go in with a setting powder and a setting spray, and I just touch up throughout the day. Next is bronzer. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is in the color Bronzed Belle. What I love about these putty bronzers, I will say, is the fact that they have so many different color options. Like, I love the fact that it goes so deep because a lot, ooh. Okay, hold on. I thought I needed a darker color, but I don't think that I do. What do you guys think? I feel like it wouldn't kill me to go up a shade, but I feel like this could also work. I always place it with a brush and blend it out with a sponge. but because it blended out so well, I kind of lost my color. I'm gonna get rid of this one, and I try to be subjective because sometimes it's not the fact that a product's bad. Sometimes it's like I just don't have the right shade, or it's not for my skin type. I also am not mad at the fact that it's blending out really well, because that means that it's easy to build up and work with. I always put my bronzer right above my ear to kind of give a more elevated cheekbone. Like, do you guys, okay, let me see if I can build it up maybe. Okay, so this is the shade Bronze Bill. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is kind of this product's redemption because I have not had super great experiences with these products. Putty blushes, and I have the colors Bali and Caribbean. Every time I have used these products, they have pulled my makeup off from underneath, and I don't have time for that. I really don't. Like, the farther you get into makeup, it's more upsetting when something doesn't work because you have worked so hard to get where you are. I'm gonna give these one more chance. I guess I'm not super mad at the fact that I've had bad experiences with these because I do have 2 other blushes from e.l.f. that I really love. Another great example of where they have so many different options if something doesn't work for you or if you have like a different preference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix these 2 together. Okay, it's pigmented. I think that these work better when you use products that have a more natural finish with them, because every time I have used a matte foundation, these pull the product off every single time. It did pull my makeup off a little bit. I'm gonna stay optimistic because this is only miss number 2. I tried so hard to like both of these because they come in so many different colors. Next is concealer, and I do have to say that these are 2 of my favorite all-time concealers. This top one is the e.l.f. Camo 16-hour concealer, and then this bottom one is the Hydrating Camo Satin Finish Concealer, and they're both in the color Deep Olive, which is so funny because they look like they're 2 different colors. Hydrating concealer is more of my color, so I can use that to correct underneath the eyes, and then I'm gonna go in with the Camo one to do a little bit of brightening. I haven't used these in so long because I've been testing so much new makeup. I personally actually like the hydrating one just a little bit more because it is a little bit creamier, in my opinion. These both give awesome coverage. I feel like the moment my makeup truly comes together is the moment that I put concealer on, because I really don't, and I mean, I guess I didn't really ever intentionally do this, I just never did it to begin with. I don't put a whole bunch of foundation underneath my eyes. I never have, and I didn't realize that I was always doing myself a favor when doing that. I'm really excited to share these setting powders with you guys because I just think that they are awesome. I feel like e.l.f. has come such a long way in the complexion department. I remember when I first started using e.l.f. when I was like 12, so almost 8 years ago, they had little to no complexion products, and now they have so much. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and mix both of these 2. I'm gonna explain why in a second. e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder, and I have this in the color Medium Beige. I also have the e.l.f. Matte Setting Powder, and this is in the color Medium Beige. So usually if I'm using the hydrating concealer, I will set underneath my eyes with the matte powder. And if I'm using the regular Camo concealer, I will use the Halo Glow Setting Powder. So since I use both, I wanna go ahead and mix the 2. I only use these underneath my eyes because they are a little bit lighter. No matter what makeup products I'm using, I always go in with my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, and I just go right underneath my eyes and blend out a lot of little fine lines. So I like to make sure the makeup is blended out. That way I'm not setting the makeup into my fine lines. The concealers, and I love both of these because I feel like this color is perfect for me for underneath the eyes because it just gives a little bit of extra brightness. And these actually blend into the skin very easily, very smoothing. That Halo Glow Setting Powder, I'm telling you, I have never tried any other loose setting powder like it because it sets your makeup, but it gives life to the face. Before we try this newness, I do want to go ahead and give this product a shout out because she's pretty solid. I don't know the name of it because it doesn't have it on here, but I have this in the color medium dark, and this setting powder unfortunately only comes in 3 colors, so not super inclusive. We can definitely do better there. If this is in your shade, I love this powder. It has the perfect amount of coverage and it does a really good job at smoothing the face. I'm hoping that this color is going to work for me. New e.l.f. Camo powder foundation. I have this in the color medium 375N. The color range on the website is a lot more inclusive than what they carry in stores. My Ulta does not carry every color, so I'm gonna be mindful of the fact that I know that this color may not be perfect for me. This is actually my favorite powder brush of all time. This is the e.l.f. Precision Airbrush powder brush. It has just the right amount of density, but I love the fact that it's slanted because it just fits on your face perfectly. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that did a really good job at smoothing right there. The color isn't perfect, but it works. Very lightweight feeling. It's not super heavy at all. Like, I don't feel like I just added another layer of makeup to my face. This has a good amount of coverage with a brush. I would say that this is like medium coverage with a brush. I feel like I could definitely get more coverage out of it if I wanted to with a powder puff. That is what the skin is looking like. 9 times out of 10, it's going to look a little bit darker on your face than it does in the pan. So be mindful of that when you are picking a shade. I really like this. And this comes in like 30 shades. Now it is time for blush. And these are 2 of my favorite drugstore blushes of all time. First one is the e.l.f. blush palette. It is the only blush palette that I have tried from the drugstore that is CoverGirl friendly, besides the Makeup Revolution Roxy palette. I love the fact that I can use them all individually or I can mix and match. I love using this blush as like a blush slash bronzer because it just is so beautiful on the skin. e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in the color Always Spicy. I've tried Always Rosy. If you're darker like me, you probably are not gonna like Always Rosy. I felt that Always Rosy was just a little bit too chalky, the color was. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one. It's just so warm. No matter what product I'm using, I always go over with the sponge. This step right here is what helps me to get everything to look like one. Next is highlighter, and these are such stunning, intense highlighters. This is not gonna be something that you're gonna wanna use for a more natural glam. I actually found these in TJ Maxx, and they do still sell them. e.l.f. Baked highlighters. This is in the color Apricot Glow, and this new one that I have not tried is in Blush Gems. I actually wanna use this one today, Blush Gems color. And I love these highlighters too because they're not super glitter heavy. And I always place the product first, a more fluffy brush, and blend it out, diffuse it just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and set the face. This is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Microfine Setting Mist. This is very similar to the Urban Decay All Nighter, just not as intense. But I love the spritzer on this. So I like drench my face in this, no joke. Whatever setting spray I'm using. I feel like this step right here also helps to melt everything together. I like to get my skin really wet looking and then use this fan. And this also helps to melt the creams and the powders together. I wanna go ahead and finish the eyes really quickly. I actually do not like the eyeliner pencil that e.l.f. has. I think it's a little bit too dry. Finish the bottom, use this little Mint Melt eyeshadow quad. I don't know if they still sell it anymore or if it is limited edition. I'm gonna go ahead and take this dark brown color and smudge that on my lower lash line. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's pigmented. I'm going to use this e.l.f. Lash It Out Loud mascara on the bottom lashes. I did mess up a little bit, so while I wait for that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the same palette. I'm gonna use this color right here on my inner corner. This is also a new product. I have two new products that I want to use. Brow gels, e.l.f. Wow Brow Gel, and this is in the color Deep Brown. And then this product I used a very long time ago. Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. One brow with this product, one brow with the other product. I have a feeling that I'm gonna like this little one better. I really prefer a wand that is small for my brows. I just feel like since my brows are a little bit sparser, it's easier to use. They're both very easy to use. Lastly is lips, and I'm actually really excited to try these new lip liners from e.l.f. e.l.f. Love Triangle Lip Filler Liners. Deep brown, mauve, and light brown. This first one is light brown, the middle one is mauve, and this one is deep brown. Either light brown or deep brown would be really pretty just because of how warm I feel like my cheeks look from that blush. Light brown would be prettier, which to me this actually really isn't a light brown. This is more of like a nude pinky type of color. That's like my perfect nude color actually. Formula is not bad. It's not the creamiest thing that I've used, but I will say I do like the fact that it is a roll up. I feel like with the roll up you get to use more product than you would with a pencil because you have to shave away some of the product. These are also new. I'm not sure what the names of these are because they don't say on here. Put the name on the screen and then you can see what the colors look like in the back. Power Mauve, Cinnamon Dreams, and Basic Beige. This is what they look like. I feel like these are more toppers. I do have one matte lipstick that I want to try, and I think that this will be perfect with this combination. e.l.f. Liquid Matte Lipstick, and I have this in the color Coffee. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this and then use those other ones as toppers. That color is perfect. This is super comfortable on the lips. This reminds me a lot of the Dose of Colors liquid lipstick just because it's so like light and airy. I like this a lot. I do want to mention these other two lip products really quickly because I'm not going to use them, but they're some of my favorites. Lip plumping gloss, and I have this in the color Mocha. Nicest slight tingling minty cool feeling to the lips. This is also another one of my favorite lipsticks. e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipsticks, and I have this in the color Cider, brown pinky type of nude. Use the Cinnamon Dreams one just because it is a little bit more brown. I feel like the other ones are a little bit too pinky. I've never tried anything this consistency. Like, they're not sticky. It is the most non-sticky lip gloss I've ever tried. All right, guys, this is the finished look. I am absolutely in love with the way that my skin looks. This is the best my makeup has looked in a while, and I feel like I keep saying that because I honestly feel like I am getting better at makeup, but I'm also loving the products that I'm using. If you guys have tried anything from e.l.f., please let me know. What are your favorites? What are products that don't so much work for you? I feel like the only things that really didn't work for me were the eyeliner and the cream blush. The fact that I literally did this whole face except for two products with drugstore makeup and e.l.f. makeup at that, awesome. If you guys liked today's video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you guys like these one brand tutorials, I do have a couple in my full face playlist that I will link right up here for you guys. And I have done a one brand tutorial of e.l.f. makeup before that I will also leave for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.